Subscribe right now, the queen, she on live. Right now. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, Brooklyn. All my people, you rocking with the chat. Hit that. The like button would tell me where you at. You know, step from the MBK. Born and raised up MBK. Hey, real lady where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
turn. Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?
Dope Soul.
What?
Your soul.
Where you at? Where you at?
Salute, Knicks family. Welcome to the show. Knicks evening vibe in this case. Welcome to the channel. Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk, a member of the NBK family. As you can see, I am in a remote location. The video, not as good as usual. The audio, I don't know. The audio may or may not be as crisp, but it was important to get on tonight and connect with you guys. I like it. I like the show. I like chatting with you guys. It's always interesting to see what the chat has to say. So the Knicks were able to tie up the series in a tough one. I know a lot of fans, thought that, are concerned. Adjae will be joining me later, the optimistic one who's a bit concerned about how the Knicks won, that they barely squeaked it out. Jimmy Butler didn't even play. But listen, it's the playoffs. I think in the playoffs, you just take them how you can get them. Each game is different. I'm talking about perimeter shooting. We were able to get that this game, but game 3 might be about something totally different. I thought the Knicks, showed heart. They showed resiliency. They showed toughness. But one of the things you're going to find in the playoffs is that those 3 things that I just said are just as important as rotations and scheme and adjustments, right? It's just my will against your will. We know what Miami wants to do. Miami knows what we want to do. Who can stop who? And that's basically what it comes down to in the playoffs. Listen, Miami won against Boston without Embiid. I mean, it took 45 points from James Harden, but they did it, right? Milwaukee won a game without Giannis. You're going to be able to win without your star players. Miami didn't win, but between Gabe Vincent, who was it, Max Strauss, and I'm missing one, their 3 leading scorers were all undrafted players. I mean, this Miami team, is a tough team. They embody what we embody: toughness, physicality, next man up, right? They are without Tyler Hero. Oladipo was in the rotation. He's out, next man up. They embody that as well. But the Knicks, give the Knicks credit. I mean, I started to think somewhere in that third quarter, the end of the third, like, wow, we going out like this? Like, we're going to go down 0-2 and hopefully get into Miami and win one, if not both of those games, to bring it back to the Garden. This is how we going out. But the Knicks, the Knicks stepped up, in that fourth quarter, I believe with 7 minutes to go in the game, the Knicks went on a 23-12 run. Just that toughness, just that not, giving up. But let's get into it. All right. The starters last night: Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart still starting. RJ Barrett started. Julius Randle was back and played well for the Knicks. Mitchell Robinson at center for them. Gabe Vincent, undrafted. Max Strauss, undrafted. Kevin Love, Khalid Martin, undrafted. Bam Adebayo, and Jimmy Butler was out. And I'm just going to get right into my take. I mean, I have the stats here. We'll talk a little bit about it. I just think in the playoffs, it's just less about stats and just more about players showing up and doing what you need them to do. Miami is that team that you have to put them away. They are a 48-minute team. You don't have to, it could be like 1 minute left, like last night. We think we have the game in hand. What happens? Randall with a critical turnover, right? Stepping on the line. Duncan Robinson hits a three. Just like that. I'm like, oh my God. Like, they're going to come back and win the game like this, but we were able to get some shots, get some free throws, hit some free throws, actually critical rebounds. So we were able to win the game. But this is the type of team Miami is. You're going to have to beat them. I read somewhere, shout out to Jonathan Macri, he had this stat. Miami has won 6 playoff series since Jimmy Butler arrived, which is tied for the most in the league during that time. So they're a playoff tested team. And even though Jimmy Butler didn't play, they embody that. But let's talk about our guys now, and then I'll get into the chat. Brunson, to me, in that first half, really did not look himself. He was questionable for the game, a game time decision. He tweaked the ankle somewhere in the first half, and he just did not look himself. He did not look aggressive. Thank goodness for RJ Barrett, who I think scored 19 of his 24 points in that first half. He really kept us in it. Also, Julius Randle, who had 18 of his 25 points in that first half. Brunson, I think, had 7 points. Did not look great at all. But in the second half, 23 of his 30 points, 13 points in the third quarter, 10 in the fourth quarter, 5 3-pointers in the second half. And he's a smart study as well. Cleveland, Miami, they're doing certain things to try to make him less effective, try to make him work a little bit, try to make him think a little bit. And he's a smart study. You may be able to get him, for a possession or two before he's able to, to figure it out. New York is scoring 82 points per 100 possessions when he's off the court. I mean, come on. 82 points per 100 possessions when he's off the court, and they're scoring 115.5 points per 100 possession when he plays. Shout out to Jonathan Macri for that stat as well. He's also one of 13 players in the playoff right now, averaging at least 25 points a game. And most of those other guys are all-stars, and he wasn't. It's just good to go into a series and just know we have one player. Some teams have 2, but we have one player that we know is going to show up no matter what. He had some big shots, in that second quarter, and a lot of times without a lot of space. One possession, Hartenstein with a screen, he just had a little bit of space, and he hit a big 3 for us. So Brunson is just really cementing himself, in my opinion, as a star in this league. And I said it in the regular season, maybe he's a star, maybe he's not a star. The playoffs will decide that. And I think the playoffs has, in my opinion anyway, has kind of cemented him. We still have some games to go as a star in this league, and he still has room to improve. Some things that he needs to do better. He only had 1 turnover. But Brunson, whenever he may have 1 or 2 turnovers, but it's always in a critical spot, So he had 1 turnover, a bad turnover. I think it bounced off his foot. I get it. Those things happen. But, he has yet to reach his ceiling, right? And look how he played for us last night. Both Hartenstein, 26 minutes. I thought Hartenstein was the key. They were playing the zone against us. We were getting decent looks. We weren't making them. They passed the ball. The middle was open. And one time they did pass the ball to Mitch in the middle. And, he's uncomfortable there. What is he going to do with the ball at the foul line? It's just not what he does. And I kept saying, I think we need to put Hartenstein in against the zone. And finally, Hartenstein came in. He was huge for us, not just in terms of the offensive flow against the zone, but the second chance opportunities, his activity. I think on one possession, he got, at least 2 offensive rebounds somewhere in that fourth quarter to help us out. And And you have to respect him when he gets the ball. You have to respect him. You can't just, lay off of him. He hit a few floaters. I just thought Hartenstein was just really, really good in his 26 minutes. And then Josh Hart, 14 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. He was 1 assist short of a triple-double. In that fourth quarter, he had 10 of his 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 dagger threes, right? One with about 5 minutes left, another one with a little over a minute left. Dagger three-pointers that we really needed. And he's not really known as to be a three-point shooter or a knockdown three-point shooter. But last night, he was able to do that. And to me, this is what the playoffs are about. You got to step your game up. You think Jimmy Butler's a three-point shooter? No. But in that first round series against Milwaukee, yeah, he was. These guys are playing above their heads. And that's basically what you need in the playoffs. And I think that's what we're getting. I don't know if this is above Josh Hart's head, but those 2 3-pointers was critical. RJ Barrett, awesome in the first half. Listen, I gave RJ Barrett the business in the regular season. And in my opinion, he deserved it. I don't care about the 19.6 points. His floor game was awful. His decision-making was awful. The tunnel vision, he just wasn't good. I don't care what the stats said. Yeah, he had his moments where he was able to string together, games. But for the most part, in my opinion, he wasn't good. In the playoffs, RJ Barrett has been exceptional. Perfect? No, not at all. But really, really good? Yeah, he has been. He had, like I said, 19 of 24 points of his 24 points in the first half. He really kept us in the game in the first half. And he continues to impress with his floor game. He makes the right decisions. He's making the right reads. He had 3 turnovers. He has to watch that. But other than that, RJ Barrett, to me, has been impressive. He's really been impressive. Randall missed the first game, as we know, came back in the second game, 18 of 25 points in the first half. But what was impressive about Julius Randle was his second half. He only had 7 points, 2 for 7 from the field, but he had 8 rebounds. He had 5 assists. He hit those 2 critical free throws down the stretch off of an offensive rebounds. And he did not take a shot in the fourth quarter. He didn't take one shot in the fourth quarter. Like, it wasn't about him. It was about the team. He got that ball when Jalen Brunson hit that 3 in the corner. That was on a pass that Julius Randle whipped to him, and he was able to hit the 3. Obviously, that was a critical turnover when he stepped over the line when he was trying to inbound the ball. And then Duncan Robinson only had 6 points in the game, not for trying. A lot of his shots went in and out, but it seemed like he got all 6 points on that shot right there, But Randall did well. I think the Knicks perimeter defense have to improve. Miami only shot 34.7% from 3, but I'm not sure how much of that was due to the Knicks. I just thought they got a lot of open, 3-point shots, and they just wasn't able to knock them down. Yeah. Let me just do this real quick. Like I said, the playoffs, in my opinion, is not about stats. And then I'll check in with the chat. Brunson, like we talked about, 30 points, 5 rebounds, 6 3-pointers, 1 turnover, 52.6% from the field. Randall, 25 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists. He was 2 assists shy of a triple-double, 3 3-pointers, 44.4% from the field. I mean, the Knicks, like I had concerns. Me and Adjae on Queens Court was going back and forth. He had no concerns about the Knicks 3-point shooting, and he's in the background. He's gonna come on the show in a little bit. I had a lot of concerns about the Knicks perimeter shooting, particularly their 3-point shooting. But we got 3 threes from Randall. We got 4 from RJ. We got 6 from Brunson. We got 2 critical ones from Josh Hart. If we can get those 3-point shooting shots, if we're hitting them, they can't clog up the key. It just really changes the game for the Knicks if we can hit those shots. The Knicks shot 45% from the field, 40% from 3. They took 43 pointers and hit 16. That's really, really good. 70% from the free throw line. Here's Miami. Martin, Vincent, Strauss, their 3 leading scorers, like I said in the beginning, all undrafted players. Martin, 22 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 3-pointers. Vincent, 21 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 3-pointers. Strauss, 17 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 3 3-pointers. Our perimeter defense is going to have to be a bit better. I don't think that's something the Knicks do well, but they're going to have to be better. 44.7% from the field for Miami, 34.7% from the three-point line, 70.6% from the free throw line. The Knicks went to the line 30 times, and you can argue that was, the difference in the game. The Knicks made more free throws than Miami took, right? The Knicks made 21 free throws. Miami took just 17, right? So that was a clear advantage for the Knicks, even though Miami got up more shots than the Knicks, particularly more three-point shots than the Knicks. Let me just see if anything sticks out for me in the box score. I'm interested in what the chat has to say about, Obi Toppin, who, only got 10 minutes, in this game. For me, this is what happens, right? If you remember in the regular season, RJ was out, Fournier got into the rotation. RJ came back, Fournier was out the rotation, right? I think Mitch was hurt, Sims was in the rotation, Mitch came back, Sims was out the rotation, right? Randall plays, Obi gets 10, 12, 14 minutes. Randall's out, he starts, he gets more minutes. That's just, what it is. But I definitely hear you. Those who feel like regardless, he's played well enough, whether Randall is here or not, he should get more minutes. For me, it's just about, did the Knicks win or not? I'm not really concerned about who got what minutes. I'm just concerned about, those who are in the game, what are they doing, right? Let me see. Mitchell Robinson played 20 minutes. He had 6 points, 5 rebounds. I wonder in this series if this series is more geared toward Isaiah Hartenstein, particularly if they play the zone, or, we'll see. Maybe it's just a game-to-game thing. Grimes with 26 minutes. He closed the game. His defense is, decent, 3 points, 3 rebounds. I mean, you have the threat of a 3-point shooter with him out there. He only took 3 shots. He hit one of them. And IQ only played 9 minutes and 17 seconds. He had 6 points. He went on like a 4-0 run, and we needed those points when he gave it to us. But he just, it's just not IQ. All right, I'm just rushing through this because I want to get to the chat, and I want to bring Adjae in. As far as points in the paint, I think Miami was +4, second chance points. The Knicks was +9. Not a lot of fast break points. Miami did not have one fast break point in this game. New York only had 5, right? New York turned the ball over 10 times. Miami 6. 10 times is not, that's pretty good. Miami only turned it over 6 times. Like, I think they understood that the margins were slim playing without Jimmy Butler. And, they played okay. The Knicks was just better last night. The Knicks made the plays they needed to make down the stretch. A 23-12 run to close out the game after being down 6. It's pretty good. All right. Yeah, I don't know, Leslie Martin. Thank you. I appreciate you joining me this evening. Why do you think RJ didn't play the last quarter? I know they were looking for defense, but we need offense too. That is a very good question. And I don't have the answer for it. Like I said, he had 19 of his 24 points in that first half, and we needed him. He hit 4 3-pointers. He played very well. I wonder if it was just wanting to have, I don't know, a more defensive-minded player in the game with Grimes, with the potential to hit a 3. Maybe, between Strauss, Martin, I keep forgetting the other one, Vincent, maybe he just wanted to have better defenders. And by he, I mean Tibbs wanted to have better defenders in the game. But I was surprised. I was surprised by that also. Drugs. It's because RJ wasn't rotating to shooters. Okay, so a defensive. It was because of the defense. Kerry Cox, appreciate you. Better defense with Grimes. Okay, all right. Pamela Willis, I appreciate you. They need to be aggressive in the paint to feel good with outside shots. Yes, I definitely agree. Corey Lee, hey, I'd love to have you on my show. 718 Boys, hey, DM me. I would love to be on the show. Anybody show. Shout out to the Morning Brew Sports. They had Uncle Fulio on this morning. They go on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, if I'm not mistaken, at 11 a.m. Check them out. The vibe between those guys is just really, really good. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I don't know if this is Phil, but whoever it is, please drop your link in the chat. We got to do better defensively against them also. How many three-point shots did Robinson get? First of all, he needs hardly any space. Excuse me, my dog is trying to get to the show. He needs hardly any space as it is. And I think a few of them, like at least two, if not more, were in and out. Like, yeah, the Knicks do have to do a better job defensively. But we've seen this come up a few times during the season, right? Just giving up the three-point shots, not rotating well. They do swing the ball a lot. They don't have a lot of players that can create off the dribble. So they don't really have ball stoppers. So if they don't have the shot, they're moving it on to the next person, moving it on to the next person. So there is ball movement because they don't have a lot of guys who, if any, who can create off the dribble. So the Knicks have to keep moving. JJ, I appreciate you. Miami going to continue playing the zone because they don't have rim protection, right? And they're not scared of our shooting. Got to shoot them out of it. And we were able to do that yesterday. Adjae, let me bring in Adjae. He was he was super confident that the Knicks would, of course, shoot better than 20%. I thought they would do that as well. But he was super confident in the Knicks perimeter shooting. And the Knicks shot super well last night. Jarrell, I'm at my son's Little League game. Still got to listen to Steph talking Knicks. I appreciate you, Jarrell. We're on tomorrow, 9:30. Fact, Steph, I've been a real critic of RJ, but I'm giving him a lot of credit for these recent playoff games. He's stepping up, no doubt. Now, the RJ people are going to come out and be like, oh, y'all was talking about him bad. And yeah, rightfully so. Rightfully so. But listen, when the play changes, the narrative has to change. My sis, Dewan, they're all stepping up, and that's what we need to win. No doubt about it. Let me bring in Adjae. Let me check. How are you? How you feel?
I am okay. All right. How's your trip going?
My trip is going well, but it's always an adventure when it comes to the internet.
No, right now it's coming out crystal clear right now. It's perfect.
Okay.
So we're
awesome.
good. Yeah. Salute to you and salute to the chat and, Jarrell and everybody else, sharing their input with us. I mean, Queen, you pretty much said everything there's to say about that game. It was a very ugly game. Yeah, we're lucky. We're lucky we came out on top. But it really could have gone either way. And for a game two with that most people consider do or die, like it was a must-win game. We still came out very suspect. Not flat, because as we know, we shot the three. I think we shot like 40% from three.
We did.
So we were much better there, much closer to what we've been doing all season long, which is, I wasn't worried about that. But what I am worried about, and I think you mentioned that, I mean, the defense, we can't allow Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent. I mean, these guys don't score 20 points. That's just not what they do. Gabe Vincent is like a project. He's like our Jericho Sims. He's a project. You can't allow these guys to be scoring 21, 22 points. You can't win that way. I mean, the coaching.
You're underestimating them because it's the play. I get you in the regular season. This is not what you expect of them, but you're going to get more shots. Like, think about somebody off of our bench, a McBride, and we got two players out, and we got others who are injured. Remember, Hero Oladipo is out and Butler was out. So there's going to be more shots, right? They're going to take more shots. So you don't think you're underestimating them just a little bit?
Queen, listen.
I guess not.
Gabe Vincent, there's a reason why he went undrafted, and that's not a knock, okay? And people keep saying that. That's not it's neither a knock or a kudos. I don't think. You know, if you're in the league, you're good, okay?
Right.
Because scouts didn't see you, that doesn't mean you're better or but the team he plays for, the Miami Heat, they're not fully invested in him. He's getting paid like less than $2 million. That's not what you pay a player you think can give you 20 points. I'm sorry. It's not me that underestimate him. It's his team, his organization think, let's give this guy a couple of million. Let's see what he can do. Okay, they don't know what he can do. Like, he's just not a 20 points a game guy, and that's what he's been, so far in the conference semis. We cannot allow that. That's because we're not defending him. Listen, anybody in the NBA, if you allow them to shoot, they will shoot. I don't care how they got here. Whether they got drafted, whether they were international, whether they came out of high school, whether they from the G League Ignite. If they made it to NBA, they can shoot if you allow them to shoot. Where we're allowing him to score 21, 22 points a game. So we just got to stop that. Max Strus wasn't drafted, but I think Max Strus is I would understand because he does that. Max Strus, I think he averages 12, 13 points a game, but Gabe Vince is like 8 points a game. And for 2 games now, he's giving you 20 and up. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I hear what you're saying, but I think my take on it is, and I hear what you're saying. My take on it is, that's telling me a lot about this guy. And he might be making $2 million now, but when his next contract, because I don't know when he negotiated that contract, just like we had Mitchell Robinson, we were playing Mitchell Robinson $2 million because of when he signed it. And he was outplaying that contract, he was outplaying the contract. And I think that's probably what's happening with Strus and Vincent. They're outplaying the contract. I bet you Miami is not going to be able to re-sign him for $2 million. And I think even if he's only averaging 8, for him to do what he's doing now in the playoffs, I know I hear what you're saying, that it tells more about us that we're not defending him.
Right.
But I think it also says something about him.
Listen,
and just how he's stepping up in the playoffs.
No knock on his game. Like I said, if you're in the NBA, it's like a lot of time people call NBA players trash. They don't know what they're talking about. These are the best players in the world. If you're Dwayne Dedman, you belong. You in there. You got some skills. Okay.
Right.
So it's not a knock on his game. It's just that he's playing. The Knicks are also an NBA team who should be playing NBA level defense. And if you play that level of defense on those guys, they're not going to give you 20 points a game. So we just got to, the coaching staff is going to have to, study the tape and find out, what we got to do to prevent those guys from going off, I mean, if Jimmy Butler comes back, these guys are comfortable. They're confident that, because Butler wasn't there and they scored, Gabe Vincent scored 20 points the first game with Jimmy, but Martin, he doesn't do much. He's there for defense. He's not a great 3-point shooter, but he's giving him 20 points. So now when Butler comes back, this guy is the confidence alone is gonna make him give you like at least 15 points, added to what Jimmy Butler is bringing, added to what the other guys. I mean, we don't stand a chance if we allow that. We're just gonna have to clamp down on defense and let those guys feel us.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about it is, we got to play both sides. I mean, we're not getting what we thought we were going to get from Grimes. We're not getting what we thought we were going to get from IQ. So at least IQ didn't play a lot of minutes last night. Obi didn't play a lot of minutes last night. So we essentially played 7 guys. And you're asking those guys to put up a lot on offense and a lot on defense. I mean, it's the playoffs. You're gonna have to do it. We shall see. But I don't see it that way. Like, wow, look what these guys did. Now you add Jimmy Butler to that, or Jimmy Butler wasn't there, and look what these guys did. The Knicks don't stand a chance. I just think every game is different.
It gives them confidence, I feel.
But I think those guys are already confident. I think that's what makes Miami. Listen, Miami beat Milwaukee, and Giannis played in the last 2 games. Like, I think those guys are confident anyway. I don't think it's like, oh, I scored 20 points on the Knicks, I'm super confident. I think they were confident to start.
Right.
That's why they scored 20 points, you know? I think this is just, this is just Miami. Listen, they're seasoned, but they're coaching up these guys that don't have a lot of playoff experience. When you saw them guys play last night, I didn't see any fear. They weren't shook by Madison Square Garden. They took it to the Knicks. That's just how they built. And Miami looks for those types of guys. Somebody asked a question. Shout out to Drugs Only. I appreciate you. He wants to know, can we win this series if Grimes or IQ continue not to step up? Your thoughts on that?
I think it's going to be tough. One of them, I mean, we can. It's just going to be tough. One of them have to be able to give us something. And I'm more so looking at Emmanuel quickly because, he's been around the longest and he's been very reliable this season. So when we go into battle, knowing that, okay, this is what we can expect from IQ, and then all of a sudden we don't get it, it throws everything off. And you mentioned that it's a good thing he didn't play. He only played like 10 minutes or something yesterday, or 9 minutes. Mm-hmm. Actually, it's not a good thing. Mm-hmm. It's a terrible thing that he's playing so bad that Tom Thibodeau feels that he should reduce his minutes all the way down to 9 because he's not giving us anything. So that's not good at all. Because when you go into battle, you want to know that whoever you're with, whoever's by your side, got your back, that they can produce, that they can come through and do what they're supposed to do.
Right.
IQ is not doing what he's supposed to do. He's not coming through right now.
Right.
So yeah, I think you obviously listen, anything's possible. Yeah, we can win with them not showing up, but it's going to be very, very, very hard. It's going to be extremely difficult for us to do that, I think.
I disagree. Listen, people were talking about we can win without Randall, but we can't win without IQ and Grimes. We can win without IQ and Grimes. We did it last night.
Who said we cannot win without Julius?
I know, but some of the fan base. I'm not gonna say a lot. Some of the fan base
crazy talk.
We can win without we can win without Randall. I think we can win without IQ and Grimes because I think we have. We beat Cleveland and we lost the first game. And we won this game without IQ or Grimes. Now, Grimes, I'm not underestimating Grimes' defense when he's in there. And I'm not underestimating, Quickly's defense when he's in there. But Drugs Only, correct me if I'm wrong, when you asked that question, I take it you were talking more about their offense. Can we win this series without their offense? And I think we can. I think we can. Let me just add this last point. Mm-hmm. But what that means is pretty much what happened last night. 3 threes from Julius Randle, 4 threes from RJ Barrett, 6 threes from Jalen Brunson, 2 threes from Josh Hart. So if we get the threes from the other players, yes, we can win without Grimes and IQ. That's what we've been doing. We haven't been getting it from those guys.
But that's what I said. I said we can win without them. It's just going to be very hard. And very hard meaning we have to get the kind of performances we got last night. Jalen Brunson, 30 points. Julius Randle, supposedly. I mean, he did look good yesterday, but let's not forget that he is hurt. He did play well, but it's not, he's not fully healed, right? I think we got 23 points from him or something like that. But we can win. It's just it's not going to be easy. These guys, everybody else got to come through.
No, of course. But the people that we're asking to come through are the people who should come through, right? RJ Barrett, Julius, like the guys who have been in the league, the players who have been in the league longer. Those are the ones that we're asking to come through. Listen, let me just read what Knicks 1-2 day or Knicks 12 day. I appreciate you. I'm not mad at the young homies after last night. Quick made some timely buckets and Grimes gets the job done defensively. Quick brings energy and intangibles. Their buckets will come around. Well, this is what I'll say. I think as a fan base, a lot of us are really letting Quickly off the hook. Now, I'm not going to say I'm disappointed in Quickly. This is his first. He played in Atlanta series, but his role was different coming in. The expectations were a little higher for Quickly. But for me, from Quickly, I just think we need more than energy and intangibles. That's McBride. That's not a guy that is coming up for an extension, $100+ million extension, giving you energy and intangibles. This is not a 6 man of the year finalist giving you energy and intangibles. No, I think we expected more of Quickly. We expected him to release some of the ball handling pressure off of Brunson. Brunson has to bring the ball down each and every time.
Yeah.
Randall was back, so Randall took some of that responsibility. I don't know. Maybe Grimes and RJ Barrett, it was told you are not to bring the ball up the court, but Brunson brings it up each and every time. But Quick, I think we need more than energy and intangibles from him. Listen, if we had to quit from the season, this is a different series already.
Definitely.
If we had Grimes, the shooting that we saw from Grimes in the last 10 minutes, the last 10 games or so of the season, this is a different series, right? It's tight, it's wire to wire, because we're not getting what we were used to getting from those guys. But can you blame them? For some guys, they can step into the playoffs like Josh Hart, and it's like another day in the office. And for other guys, it takes them a few playoff series, a few seasons to be able to produce like that in the playoffs. And it seems like that's the case for Quick. Grimes, he's yet to play even 2 seasons worth of games. I don't know.
All too well, you may not have 2 seasons to get there, because this is the NBA. Next year we may not have this opportunity. Next season, it's like 2 seasons ago we're in the playoffs. What happened last season? We didn't even make the play in. There's a lot of moving parts in the NBA. You never know where you're gonna land next season. Do you know what I'm saying? So you never know who's gonna go to what team in your conference. You don't know. I mean, when you got the moment, when you in the moment, you have to seize the moment. It's just unfortunate. These guys, they got to come through.
Yeah. Cody is not hearing anything I'm saying. Nothing. I need some buckets from IQ, period. I don't want to hear this is his first time in this role in the playoffs. I don't want to hear about nothing. I need buckets from IQ, period. I hit you. Definitely. We got 99 people in the chat. I don't even have the YouTube window open because I don't want to mess up my internet.
Yeah, I'll check for you. Please don't touch it.
So please hit that like
come on.
button.
Just 35 likes, man. We gotta do better than that, man.
Yeah.
Come
You're
on,
appreciating
man.
the content or the effort to bring the show. Hit the like button. Knicks are nice. This is a Randall series. It showed yesterday. Randall was really good yesterday.
And the whoever is doing the broadcasting said they like that Randall has no respect for anybody on that team. You give him the ball, he's gone. No matter who you put on him, he's attacked. He's in attack mode. I kind of like when they said that because he actually really did that. Don't matter who you put on him, you give him the ball, he's taking it. So
CAA Mafia, Spoelstra knows how to coach offense and use his player's strengths. Tibbs doesn't know how to do that. I disagree. I just think that, it's so easy when the Knicks lose or squeak out a game to point to the coach. And I think, the other way around as well. When the Knicks win, Tibbs is doing such a great job. I think it's a little more, nuanced. I think it's a little more nuanced than that, in my opinion.
Queen, just like, listen, we could see that it was an ugly game. Trust me, Tibbs and his crew and his staff, they're not sitting there thinking, all right, we found the formula. They know they have to make adjustments for game 3.
Right.
They know, and I'm sure they understand that like this ain't it. This is not going to take us to the promised land. So they're
Right.
working on it. I'm pretty sure they're working on it.
Right. But the guys have to execute as well.
Absolutely.
Guys have to execute. I do wonder, like Hartenstein was great in game 2, but the playoffs are so fickle. Like from game to game, things change. So you think you found something and be like, all right, Isaiah Hartenstein, he's going to be the difference. He's going to be the zone buster. And the next game, the game is totally different. You give Isaiah Hartenstein minutes up front because you think you found something, and then the game is taking on a different tone. So you just got to stay flexible. You just got to see how the game is being played, and you just got to be flexible and be able to make adjustments on the fly, particularly rotation adjustments.
Right.
CAA Mafia, I need Randall to play off of the elbow when they go into zone, not at the wing. But somebody is there though, in the elbow, unless you mean the mid, like mid foul line, because that's open. Like the free throw area is definitely open on the zone. Like you can just sneak in there, get a pass, and just pull up for a shot. Or you get the pass in there, they suck into you, somebody's going to be open. But the issue with the zone is not even getting open shots. The Knicks are getting open shots, in terms of perimeter shots. They just have to make it. Thuney _ got it. Facts. They are letting IQ slide. Yeah. I mean, listen, we're going to talk about this in the offseason because an interesting question is, does RJ's play in the playoffs changes his entire season, what you thought of his entire season and what you do going forward, and the same for IQ, right? So it's going to be interesting in the offseason to see how, how this plays out. Yes, at the free throw line. Right. There you go. Yeah, I agree. He said, I'm only paying him $50 million. I don't know about that, but I'll be like 76. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, he's losing money right now.
Yeah. Will Sarkin, Nuggets versus Suns game 2 is very similar to our game. Suns winning an ugly game through the third, then the Nuggets turn it on in the fourth, and that's all. Listen, and I think Parrish Duggar may have said this earlier, just win, baby. In the playoffs, if it's an ugly game, try to win it. If it's a shootout, see if you can win that. Just at the end of the night, come home with the victory. And it's just as simple as that. Yeah. Josh, aka Uncle Fulio, salute. I'm not worried about IQ. He just needs to be more aggressive in the mid-range, just like he did in Cleveland game. I'm not sure how you cannot be worried. I mean, listen, I'm not worried either because I've just accepted this is IQ right now. This is IQ right now. He's been reduced, in my opinion, to an energy guy. He's going to come in, he's going to play good defense. He might hit a shot, he might not hit a shot, but he's definitely not a core piece of our offense, right? He's just not playing like that. So in that respect, you're right. I'm not worried about it because my expectations are super low for IQ. It is what it is. And what I do like, though, is that other guys have kind of stepped up in his absence. Like coming in, I kind of felt, and Josh, we've talked about this. I was concerned that, if they take Brunson and Randall out of the game, we're relying on Grimes and IQ. And I was totally wrong because these other guys have stepped up so that we're still able to win despite Grimes and IQ not playing well. RJ Barrett is playing lights out. It's perfect? No, but he's playing lights out. And in a way that kind of mitigates the effect of IQ not playing well because RJ Barrett has pretty much become that third player, right? That IQ was in the regular season. So now it allows IQ now to just play good defense. If you hit some shots for us, that's great. If you don't, it's not optimal, but we got RJ Barrett now, so I think that's helping us. I hear you, Josh. He's not worried because he's streaky. Yeah, I hear you, but I think even you expected more from IQ coming into this year. We're not even talking about a game or two. We're talking about 2 series already. Even though we're just the second game into Miami. Now, can he turn it around? Yeah, he can, but he just doesn't look right. It's not even like this looks like IQ. He's just missing shots, right? To me, it just doesn't look like IQ. All right.
And Queen, I want to add, like he's
Yes.
streaky, yeah, but we don't want the streak to end after we done lose 4 games, and we see him working out over the summer. He's shooting everything from all over the court. We want him doing it now, like when it matters. You know,
Right.
it has to turn around like right now.
Right. Bubba Smith, the second these names are something else. I appreciate you. We have more firepower than Miami. This isn't making any sense. Yeah, but you got to be able to shoot it. You got the firepower, but it's not. On paper, the Knicks are a better team. But I said this coming into the series, the game is not played on paper. If
Mhm.
our guys don't show up, the advantage that we have, you know, dissipates, and this is what's happening. And on the other side, their guys are stepping up big time. Big time. Butler was not out. I mean, excuse me, Butler didn't play. They were up 6 with I believe 7 minutes left to go in this game. So I'm with you, Bubba Smith the second. It doesn't make sense. It shouldn't make sense, but it kind of does because the Knicks just weren't shooting well. I would have to go back and see what were the Knicks shooting through 3 quarters. What were they shooting through 3 quarters?
And Queen, let's also add that we had hey, listen, we got to call it like it is, right? We got a couple of calls went our
Mhm.
way when typically we don't get those calls.
Right.
We,
Right.
we certain like that 4-point play that could have gone either way.
Yes.
It went our way, right?
Yes. Yes.
That 24-second violation that the ball actually grazed the rim.
Yes. Yes.
That
Yes.
could have gone, and that was, you know, it was actually a bucket. They actually made the shot on that one. So that's
Right.
like 6 points right there. That usually we don't get those calls. Like
Right.
shout out to Tony Brothers. If that was him, we wouldn't get those calls.
Right. So we had a few go our way. No doubt about
Yeah.
it. If you're new to the chat, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button. Brandon Howard, I think everyone will round into form and we start cooking with gas. I hope you're right, because I think we're gonna need that in Miami. Lady and the Chef, the Knicks are not moving the ball. Offense is stagnant. Players are not cutting. I've watched them move the ball the first half. After halftime, the offense gets very stagnant. Yeah, that does happen. Cody, I absolutely expected more from IQ. He came into the playoffs with momentum, then flatlined on offense. Thank goodness RJ turned it around. Yeah, I think if RJ hadn't turned it
Yeah.
around, this would be really tough. Because remember, Randall has missed 2 games in the playoffs, right? RJ stepped up. Knicks are nice. IQ was the number 3 scorer coming in, completely folded. I think RJ, statistically, RJ was the, 3rd leading scorer for this team. But many of us thought, IQ was the 3rd best player in the team, on the team. All right. Anything else? Yeah, our guard play must step up. Andrew K. This is Adjae's brother. 11 minutes away from chip number 3. Optimistic. Let me tell you something. If the Knicks can get some consistent perimeter shooting, yeah, I would be on board with that. Pamela Willis, I think IQ is hurt a little. He had that black tape on his leg. All right, sis.
If
All
you
right.
too hurt to play, then don't step on the court. Because again,
Right.
people rely on you to come through, and you're not coming through. So you might as well stay off so you can know not to rely on you.
Right. Uh-huh. I hope I get this. Diva Locks 21. I hope I got that right. Welcome to the channel. I think this is your first time. Welcome to the show. I think we need a veteran leadership on the bench. I mean, D Rose been around, someone who can be a coach on the bench. Hopefully they're getting that from D Rose as well as Fournier. You know, hopefully those guys are still active, even though they're not player. All right. Bag of James last night wasn't upset Tibbs didn't play him down the stretch because Grimes was doing a great job with defense. He just happy we won. Okay. All right.
Who he's talking about? RJ?
I think he's talking about RJ. Knick fans like to pick and choose. Everybody got criticized. Now it's IQ's turn. Yeah, going into game 3 now.
But what's wrong with that though? IQ's not playing well. Why? Yeah, we criticize him, man. Like we expect him to play better. He's not playing as well. We expect him to say, yeah, so we criticize him. Right. Are we supposed to applaud him when he's not coming through? I don't get it.
No. I think he's just saying now it's IQ's turn.
Yeah, now it's IQ's turn. Like, and hopefully he's watching this show, and he steps it up. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, I just like the way Tibbs is doing the minutes. Obi got. I didn't think Obi was bad though. I think Obi did make a few mistakes in the game, but listen, he wasn't the only one. I think the big thing for him was that Randall returned. I think that had a lot to do with him playing 10 minutes.
And the 2 air balls. Probably.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised. I was surprised at that. No doubt, sis. Listening from Facebook or viewing us from Facebook, orange and blue skies. Yeah, no doubt. Right. Jerry Fitz, RJ played 38 minutes. It's not like he didn't get any run. Yep. He just didn't close, but you're absolutely right. He played 38 minutes. Jerry Henderson said Grimes should start. Why? I mean, I said that this the other day. If it means Hart goes back to the bench with that playing more with that second unit, to keep that second unit intact, maybe. But at this point, the Knicks are starting the 5 best players. At this point. All right. Going into game 3. All right. Game 3 and game 4 is in Miami. Game 3 is Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Jimmy Butler should play in that game. I think Randall to get a little more rest, and Brunson was also having ankle issues. So that gives him 3 days of rest as well. Your thoughts, game 3 in Miami. Do the Knicks get one of these?
Yes. Right. I think they're going to get one of these. Of course, and my optimistic self's telling me that Emmanuel Quickly is going to have a big game. The problem is I don't want him to have a big game when it doesn't matter, when the game's out of hand. You know what I'm saying? I want him to have a big game when other people are playing well, so he could come up with a dub in one of those games. I do believe we will win one because we show that we can win, and we have won in Miami. Winning in Miami is not a problem. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I do believe we can win in Miami, and we're probably going to come up with one of those. So we should be back here tied, all knotted at 2.
Yeah, I just don't think home court means much in this series. I just don't. I think Miami can win at the Garden. I think the Knicks can win in Miami. I just don't think where they play is going to be the issue here.
Right.
I think it's going to come down. And listen, X's and O's isn't it? X is a factor. Schemes are a factor. Rotations are a factor. I just think it's, man on man, mano a mano. I think that's a part of it as well. Who's stepping up in the big moments? Who's taking and hitting the big shots? Who's grabbing the big rebounds? Right? Who's getting the deflection? Who's diving on the floor? Like it's a game of inches. The margins are slim.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to, who's going to do that? Now that's been Brunson for us, particularly last night. It wasn't just 30 points. It was where he got those points. Some of those baskets were big baskets for us. And we're going to need that. And I think it's the team that hits the big baskets, the team that gets the timely stops. That's the team that's going to win the game. So yeah, I think home court becomes an issue. I want to say in game 7 because it'll be at the Garden, but Miami is not fazed by the Garden.
Yeah, and we're not fazed by whatever the new name of the American Airlines
Correct.
is. So.
Correct. Yeah, no doubt about us. Knicks are nice. iHeart saved us yesterday. iHeart changed the game. He just can't change the game when he came in. On so many levels. Hopefully he gets a new contract because he only has 1 year left on his contract.
Yep.
Who wants it more is going to win this series. Yeah. I mean, I'm not underestimating scheme. I'm not underestimating rotate. I'm not underestimating that. But at some point, you done showed your hand. They showed their hand. You done made all the adjustments you need to make. And it just comes down to who's hitting shots.
Who's executing.
Shout out to Generation JL. I appreciate you. What's up, Steph? I finally made it to a show. Met you at Legends. Coming to show love. And I appreciate it, my brother. I appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, I think the watch parties and getting together for the MBK events is always good to see the other content creators, right? We spend a lot of time together on the panel. We spend a lot of time together behind the scenes, particularly me, Sim, and Tony Crow. But it's just good to meet people in person, and it's really good to meet the chat. And one of the things I found out, and I kind of knew this already, is a lot of the people who came up to me, they're not even in the chat. They just listen to the show, and they'll say, I said, what's your name in the chat? They were like, oh, I'm not usually in the chat. I just listen to the show. So shout out to everybody. All right. Lady and the Chef, I like to see Hartenstein shoot the floater more. Yeah. I think there's more to be gotten from Isaiah Hartenstein's game. We probably won't see it until next season. I think there's more to it. Okay, Bag of James. Anything else you have to say? Something about playoff Jimmy that I fear more than Curry, Durant, or Giannis. Butler is a different animal in the playoffs. He really is. He just is. And the thing about Miami, you can't even say, oh, this is an 8th seed. Like this, they was going through some things. They were going through some things while they finished, in the play-in. Jimmy Butler, I think, missed about 25 games, injuries. Then I think Hero went down in the playoffs, though. So they weren't playing at their best. But when you see them as the 8th seed, I never thought like, oh, this is the 8th seed in the playoffs. Like, they're a good team.
Right.
All right.
That they are.
Anything else about game 3 before we get out of here?
Yeah, hit the thumbs up.
Right. 3 NBA entities I don't sleep on are LeBron James, the Golden State Warriors, and the Miami Heat. He said LeBron James, like whatever team he's on. It doesn't even matter. Right now it's the Lakers, but whatever team he's on, don't sleep on.
He is so right about that, man. I mean, the spanking they put on Memphis, and now they stole game 1 yesterday. The Warriors didn't know what hit them.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think, listen, Brunson has a ways to go. Now he there's some things he needs to work on in the off season, but it just feels good to know if we need a basket, we can go to somebody. When you look at these guys in the playoffs, these teams that's in the playoffs, all of them have one, some two, that you can go to down the stretch of a ball game or when you need a timely basket. Now, I think we can do that with with Julius Randle as
Brunson.
well. Appreciate you. Knicks are nice. I appreciate you.
Yeah, but Julius Randle,
Yeah.
man, him and his late turnover. It's like you know that turnover is coming. And at some point you're like, okay, there's no way he could turn the ball over here, right? He's just inbounding the ball, man. Like
See,
you know, there's a few of those every game.
yes, yes. But
You
Brunson
just
too.
you
Brunson
just
only has one turnover, but it's always at a critical moment in the game.
Yeah.
You look at it, be like, oh, he only had one turnover. Yeah, but it was a big one, you know. CAA Mafia, do you guys want to see Josh Hart get an offensive rebound and kick out to Brunson and Randall, or get a rebound in the second unit and kick out to IQ and Obi? Point made. Point made. I think for me, yeah, point made. I don't have a problem with Josh Hart in the you know, in the starting lineup. The only thing I can think about would be because it allows the second unit to play a certain way, but I think we're past that now. Yeah.
all hands on deck right now.
Yeah.
If he plays better.
All hands on deck. The best five, the five best players are starting, basically. Ashley Inc. 1, Wiz, appreciate you. Prior to the season, everyone thought the East was the best conference. However, right now, anyone from the West is a bona fide contender, while Miami and New York have to earn that title. Yeah. No doubt about it. And experience matters. Look at what the Lakers did to Memphis. On paper, nah, I don't even know if you can say on paper, because the Lakers really did a good job shoring up that
Trade
their
deadline.
rotation at the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they really did a good job with that. So yeah, they're probably the better. Yeah, they were better than Memphis. Paris Duggar, appreciate the super chat. The 4-point play was good. The foul happened when Bam shoved iHeart as he was falling. Was the determination. JB at that point was going up for the foul shot. Calls even out. Butler gets 100 touch fouls. Yeah, I'm not complaining. You're right about that. Butler does get a lot of calls, and he'll be back in Miami, so he'll get the calls again. Ally Wise, appreciate you. Basketball is a game of mistakes. It's who makes the least. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
Looking forward to game 3 in Miami. And, like I said, I think we're going to pull one out in Miami. Hopefully it's game 3, because then game 4, you're a little bit more confident going into it.
Right.
As, then when you're playing from behind the ball, you try to catch up to what Miami's done. So, yeah, hopefully, I mean, Jimmy Butler is going to come back. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be 100%. So hopefully we could take advantage of that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Nick said nice. He said, I'll send a super chat tomorrow. Listen, being in the chat, hitting that like button does wonders. I appreciate it. But just you showing up, being, active in the chat, that definitely helps the channel. And that helps me, because that's why I do it. I do it. Like even today, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to come on internet acting up, but I like this. I just like hearing what the chat has to say. You guys make me smarter. My takes evolve over time because I listen to other content creators, I listen to those on the panel, and I listen to you guys in the chat. And of course, the replay gang puts who has the really good comments after the show. And it gets me to think. So you already doing what you need to do. Knicks are nice. Knicks are nice. I appreciate you. Yeah. Afro Jetty said that Brunson turnover off his leg, I almost flipped the TV. Now that one, I mean, that happens, right? But there's been some other ones trying to split the double team, oh man. And that's my guy. But yeah.
That Randall inbound one, that was ugly. It's like,
Yeah,
oh my
yeah,
God, like
it
wow.
was. And it wasn't even, it was that. And then Robinson hit a three. It's like, are you kidding me right now? Because I don't know if you watched game 5 in Milwaukee. They were down 16. They, even with like 2 minutes left, I thought Milwaukee was going to win this game. Jimmy Butler was some off balance shot to tie it up, and they win in overtime. So, when that happened and he hit the 3, I was like, oh, come on. Don't tell me this is about to happen again. J-Tap, replay gang, I appreciate you. Oh, I do want to thank you, J-Tap. I do want to give some love to my Patreons. And so those that the link is in the description, those that want to support the channel, obviously super chats help, hitting a like button helps, sharing the show on your social media platforms, that helps. The replay gang, leaving comments underneath the video, that helps. But those who want to commit $5 a month, become a Patreon. I appreciate those. And J-Tap is one of them. So Simeon Russell, J-Tap, Jack Lowe, Kyle Williams, Deron, I appreciate you guys for your consistent support. And anybody else? Oh, Knicks are nice. Set the Facebook gang too. Yes. I also stream the Facebook. So if for whatever reason you can't get, well, I guess if you're on your computer, you should be able to get to YouTube or Facebook. But I do stream to Facebook as well. I have a page there, Dope Soul Sports Talk page on Facebook. Pamela Willis, Kenya Smith, they watch from Facebook. There's others that watch from Facebook as well. So I appreciate the Facebook gang for sure. Keith Turner. Keith Turner be on point. Keith Turner, was that you? I think it was Keith Turner who said Grimes could sit, right? But another thing he said early in the season, we need to upgrade the shooting guard and the small forward position. And I think he was, correct me if I'm wrong, Keith Turner, were you particularly pointing to the lack of perimeter shooting from those two spots? He was on that early. So shout out to you, Keith Turner. Yeah. All right, we are out of here. I appreciate you guys. Tomorrow, Thursday, 9 p.m., the Just Nicking It show. Me, Adjae, Jarrell, Stafford Don, whoever else, maybe Delusional Knick fan will join us again. Whoever else wants to
maybe Jeff Clafter would join
maybe us. Jeff Clafter. Yes, Jeff has been really, really good on the show. Actually. Yep. So maybe he'll want to join us again. And listen, that's how I started. I was in the chat on NBK. I got up the nerve to ask Sim, can I come on the show? And that was all she wrote, right? So Jeff Clafton, maybe you got a channel in you. He said he dropped by earlier in the chat and said he couldn't make the show. He'll catch it, on replay. So, yeah. So, maybe he'll be the next one to have his own channel. Anyway, I appreciate you all. Nothing but love. Next time.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you
That's
shine. Dope Soul.
Where you at?
Dope Soul.
Where you at?
Dope Soul.
What?